school bullies decided to pick on the new kid, but he turned out to be a no rules fighter. Before we get started, a little roll call. Write down what city you're from, we're curious where we're being listened to from. Now let's go. Anton stood in front of the massive gates of the college. An old building with high windows, austere architecture, carved doors, everything said that here studied the chosen ones. But he knew that behind those walls was another world. A world where laws ruled, and newcomers had no place here. He took a deep breath, hoisted his backpack onto his shoulder, and stepped inside. The first glance around, he immediately noticed who was in charge. In the center of the courtyard, leaning on a bench, sat a group of guys. There were 4 of them, and one of them, tall, skinny, with an insolent look, stared at him at once. "Look who came to us," he said, spitting lazily on the ground. Anton did not react. He didn't lower his gaze, but he didn't show aggression either, he just stared. But it was enough to make the guys wary. "New guy?" asked one of them, with blonde hair and a cocky grin. "Aha." There was silence for a second. "You don't know how things work around here, do you?" the guy in charge asked. "I'll figure it out," Anton answered calmly. His voice was even, without a hint of fear. "You'll figure it out," repeated the leader, looking at his friends. Suddenly one of them reached out and knocked the backpack off Anton's shoulder. "Oh, sorry, unintentionally," he said with feigned regret. Anton didn't move. Calmness. Cold calculation. He looked at the guy, then slowly bent down and picked up the backpack. "Is there a problem?" he asked, looking into the eyes of the man in charge again. The man squinted a little. It was obvious that he hadn't expected such a reaction. "Not yet, but we don't like you, new guy," he said quietly. They turned and left, but Anton knew that this was only the beginning. All day long he felt the eyes on him. In the cafeteria, at recess, even in the hallways, the bullies were watching him. They were looking for an excuse. At the last recess, it happened. Anton was standing at the window when he felt someone approaching. "Hey, new kid, come here," he heard behind him. He turned around. Same guys. The leader had his arms folded across his chest and was smirking. "There's a tradition, the new guy has to prove he's not a rat." Anton didn't answer. "Let's put it this way, you get on your knees now and say you recognize us. Then maybe we'll think about whether to accept you." The audience had already gathered around. Some were smiling, some looked tense. Anton slowly took a step forward. Looked straight into the leader's eyes. "No." For a second, everyone froze. "What?" The bully couldn't believe his ears. "I said no." At that moment, the tension reached a fever pitch. "Don't you get it?" The leader stepped forward, his fist clenched. Anton did not move. He just waited. And in a second everything happened lightning fast. The crowd in the corridor whispered. Everyone knew something was about to happen. The leader of the hooligans, Sergei, stepped closer, his fists clenched. "You probably did not understand how everything works here?" he hissed. Anton stood in front of him calm, not moving a step. "I understood everything." Sergei smiled, but it was an evil smile. "Then why haven't you kneeled down yet?" The crowd around him buzzed. Some were waiting for Anton to break, some were just watching, and some were already anticipating a fight. Silence. Anton stared into Sergei's eyes without averting his gaze. "I don't kneel before jackals." The crowd exploded with cheers. "Oh, he's got a lot of nerve. There's gonna be meat. Gray, kick his ass." Sergei frowned. "You're confused, newcomer." His right hand rushed forward, grabbing Anton by the collar. And then everything happened instantly. Sergei had no time to realize anything. Anton intercepted his wrist, took a step sideways and yanked him down with powerful force. Crunch. Sergei howled in pain and fell to his knees, holding onto his arm. The corridor froze. No one had expected that kind of reaction. Usually, when a newcomer was bullied, he would either retreat or get into a stupid fight. But what Anton did was something else. He didn't just fight back, he instantly neutralized his opponent, cold-bloodedly and precisely. "Did you see that?" whispered someone from the side. "How did he twist him like that?" Gray, on his knees. The crowd could not believe their eyes. Sergei, who had always been the ringleader, who had kept everyone in fear, was now kneeling in front of the newcomer, breathing heavily and not realizing what had just happened. Anton didn't even change his expression. "Are we done?" he asked, looking down from above. Sergei clenched his teeth, trying not to show pain. "You're dead," he hissed. Anton did not answer, just turned away and went further down the corridor. After this scene, nothing was ever the same again. Now everyone knew that Anton was not just a newcomer. He didn't boast about his strength, he didn't challenge it, but he broke the system. The first law of bullies, newcomers always obey, no longer worked. And now, Sergei couldn't just let it go. The next day, Sergei and his group sat in the smoking room. "So, guys, I don't get it," Sergei said through gritted teeth, lighting a cigarette. "Who is this freak?" His right arm still hurt, but anger overrode everything. "I ran him through the database," answered one of the guys, Kirill. "He's a recent transfer. No parents. Father was military. Dead. Mother died, too." Sergei squinted. "A military man, you say? And where did he study before?" Kirill scratched the back of his head. "In some special college for orphans. Like army training, but for teenagers." Sergei clenched his fist. That's it. It became clear to him, Anton was not just a fighter, he had gone through a serious school of survival. But this did not stop him. "Nothing, guys. Tomorrow night we'll catch him. And he will beg us for mercy." The guys looked at each other. Kirill wasn't sure. "Gray. Maybe we shouldn't use him? He's really dangerous." Sergei looked at him angrily. "What are you, pissed?" "No, but…" "Tomorrow night, then. At the old gym. We'll lure him there. We'll figure it out from there." The guys didn't argue. Meanwhile, Anton already knew that he was being hunted. He was sitting on the bed in the dormitory and calmly wrapped bandages on his hands. He was ready. The old college gymnasium had long been unused. Broken windows, dim lamps under the ceiling, the heavy smell of dust and sweat. It was here that Sergei and his group decided to hold a lesson for Anton. "We'll knock him out quickly," Sergei said, laying out weighted gloves on the bench. "No talking. First one punch, then kicks to the kidneys. Don't make him lose consciousness at once, let him feel it." Kirill rubbed his fingers nervously. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Sergei threw him an angry look. "I'm not going to look like an idiot in front of the whole college. That asshole brought me to my knees in front of everyone. Tomorrow morning he'll crawl out of here himself." The boys looked at each other in silence. "The main thing is not to let him hit first," one of them muttered. All of them agreed. But the problem was one thing, Anton already knew that they were waiting for him. He hadn't come to the gym for nothing. When word of the ambush reached him, he didn't avoid conflict, he decided to make sure that this conflict ended once and for all. His plan was simple, smash the entire bully system in one night. Anton entered the gym exactly at the appointed time. Sergei was waiting for him in the center, arms crossed, lips curled in a smirk. "Well, hello, new guy." Anton looked around calmly. There were 4 men standing in the corners of the gym. The door behind his back slowly closed, and Kirill clicked the lock. Anton found himself locked out. "You know why you're here, don't you?" Sergei asked, starting to walk around slowly. "Of course." His calmness made them tense. "You're taking on too much, new guy, Sergey continued. You broke our rules. Did you think you could just get away with it? Anton didn't answer. He only took one step forward. And at that moment Sergey shouted. Take him down. Kirill rushed first. Anton moved faster than they expected. He turned sideways, dodging the blow, and with one hand grabbed Kirill's neck. Bang! A jerk, and Kirill flew backwards onto the mat, knocking the air out. But immediately the other two attacked at the same time. Anton sharply went to the side, grabbed one by the arm and turned him straight at the other. They crashed into each other and collapsed to the floor. Sergey lunged forward. His fist was headed straight for Anton's face, but he dodged at the last second. And hit him in the ribs. Sergey wheezed and bent over. Anton didn't stop. He grabbed him by the collar, turned him around, and drove his knee into his stomach. Sergey wheezed, fell to his knees and coughed. The others couldn't get up. The corridor fighters, accustomed to attacking the weak in droves, were facing real toughness for the first time. Anton looked down at them. Well, who's next? No one moved. Sergey crawled backward. You, who the hell are you? He wheezed. Anton didn't answer. He went to the door, opened the lock and turned for a second. Don't touch me again. He walked out, leaving them on the floor. The next morning the whole college knew what had happened. The bullies, who yesterday were considered omnipotent, today walked the halls quieter than water, lower than grass. Kirill with a black eye. One of them, with a bandaged hand. And Sergey. Sergey didn't even come to college. Anton didn't say a word. But now everyone knew the truth. The new kid wasn't just tough. He turned out to be invincible. The whole college was buzzing with rumors. What happened during the night was discussed at every turn. Gray had merged. They put him face down on the mat and he just lay there. How could one guy take out the whole gang? The new guy's not just strong. He's different. Anton didn't listen to this talk. He continued to walk through the corridors as before, quietly, without ostentation. But now everyone stepped in front of him. Guys who earlier could push him, hit him with a shoulder, now looked away. Girls whispered and stole glances in his direction. But he didn't change. That was even more frightening. While the entire college had already realized that Anton was best left untouched, one man wasn't going to just accept defeat. Sergey lay low, but inside he was torn with anger. This asshole humiliated me, he hissed, sitting in the smoking room with Kirill and a couple other people. Gray. Maybe we should fuck him? Kirill said uncertainly. You yourself saw what he did. We're not taking him out. Shut up. Sergey slammed his fist angrily on the table. Everyone fell silent. Sergey squinted his eyes. Since he's too strong in a fight. So we'll play it differently. The hooligans decided not to get into a head-on fight. Now they were more cunning. We have to break him from the other side, said Sergey. Not with fists, but psychologically. He began to spread rumors. Who is this Anton anyway? Why is he so suspicious? They say he was in a colony for juveniles. And someone heard that he killed a man. Little by little, drop by drop, word by word, the college began to absorb the poison. Yes, everyone knew Anton was strong. But now they began to fear him even more. And fear easily turns into hatred. Anton felt that something was changing. If before there was just fear and respect in people's eyes, now there was something else. Suspicion. Caution. One day he was walking down the corridor and heard someone quietly say behind his back. This Anton, he's dangerous. Who knows what's on his mind? He stopped. Slowly he turned his head. Those who were talking immediately became silent and quickly left. Anton realized, they were up to something. 2 days later, what he had been waiting for happened. A guy named Maxim came up to him. Maxim was not from Sergey's gang, but he was one of those who always kept neutral. "Look, Anton, I don't know if you know or not, but you're being set up." Anton looked at him calmly, without surprise. "How?" Maxim looked away, as if he was afraid of being overheard. "They want to charge you with theft." Anton raised an eyebrow. "Whose?" Maxim swallowed nervously. "Christina's." Anton realized it was serious. Christina was the daughter of one of the college sponsors. Beautiful, smart, but a little naive. If someone said she was missing money or jewelry, the principal would instantly make a fuss. Sergey had picked the perfect victim. Anton nodded to Maxim. "Thank you. Keep your eyes open, bro," he said quietly and left. Anton knew he had to act first. He wasn't going to wait until he was accused. Anton began to watch Sergey and his guys. And soon he realized the main thing. Sergey himself had hidden the money in Christina's locker. The next day at the college there was an uproar. Christina's necklace was missing. Someone had gotten into her locker. Someone was quietly hinting. "Have you seen that new guy walking around alone all the time? He's weird." The principal brought Anton into the conversation. "Where were you last night?" Anton looked at him silently. "Anton, if you are really innocent, you have to say something." Anton slowly took out his phone, opened the camera and showed the video. The footage showed Sergey and his friends putting a chain in Christina's locker. "Is that enough for you?" Anton asked, looking straight into the director's eyes. He nodded silently. Sergey was shocked. That same day Sergey and his gang found themselves in the principal's office. "What are you, a rat?" he yelled at Anton. "I just don't like dirty games," Anton replied calmly. The next day Sergey and several of his men were expelled. And the college became quiet for the first time in many years. Anton did not do anything supernatural. He just didn't let himself be broken. After Sergey and his gang were expelled, the college changed. Everyone who used to live under fear now breathed free. If only it were always like this, the students said. Fights, extortion, eternal pressure, all disappeared with Sergey's departure. Anton did not try to take their place, did not try to become a new leader. He just lived his life as before. But still everyone knew. If it wasn't for him, this would never have ended. Anton felt that something was wrong. The college had become quieter, but too quiet. There was a strange tension in people, as if they were waiting for something else. He noticed that some students had begun to keep to themselves. They used to be with Sergey, but now they behaved differently than the others. Some were discussing something in dark corners. Some stopped showing up for class. Some just looked at Anton with cold hatred. They're up to something, he realized. One day Anton heard a conversation in the hallway. "Did you hear who came back?" "No." "Who?" "Oleg." Anton looked up. He didn't know any Oleg, but judging by the voices, that name was frightening. He saw the group of guys quickly disappeared around the corner. Thought Balloon, who is this Oleg? And why is everyone so tense? Anton started gathering information. After a couple days, he figured out what this was all about. Oleg Romanov. He used to be the Grey Cardinal at the college. He kept a low profile, but ran things from the shadows. He once put Sergey in the bully's place. And then he disappeared. They say he was put in a special detention center for a serious crime. Now he's back. And he already knew about Anton. It happened in the evening, when Anton was returning from the gym. He felt someone else's presence on the way out. A tall guy was walking towards him along the corridor. Sturdy, with a short haircut, his gaze was cold and heavy. "You're Anton, aren't you?" he asked, stopping 2 meters away. Anton looked at him silently. "I am Oleg." Silence. "I heard you took out Sergey." Anton did not answer. Oleg grinned. Do you think now you are in charge here? Anton continued to remain silent. Oleg frowned. Listen, kid, I'll tell you this. He took a step closer. I'm back, and now everything will be as it should be. You don't bother me, and everything will be all right. Anton looked him calmly in the eyes. You don't bother me either. Silence froze in the air. Oleg squinted his eyes. Are you serious? Absolutely. Oleg nodded slowly. Well, we'll see. He turned around and walked away. Anton remained standing. He's not like Sergei. This one is much smarter. And he was not going to give up. After that meeting in the corridor, Oleg did not appear for several days. But Anton knew it was the calm before the storm. And the storm began. At first, nothing changed. The college lived its life. But then Anton noticed details. Some students who used to respect him now looked wary. Somewhere behind began to whisper, but no longer with admiration, but with suspicion. Someone as if purposely avoided him. Anton realized, Oleg works not with his fists, but with words. He did not attack directly. He was digging in. Let's see what you're up to. A week later, rumors spread around the college. This Anton, who was he anyway? Where did he come from? They say he used to be in jail. No, I heard he beat people half to death. Maybe he's a dangerous psycho? The longer Anton remained calm and did not answer, the more it frightened people. And Oleg knew what he was doing. He was slowly but surely breaking Anton through public opinion. And at some point it started to work. Some people stopped saying hello. Girls who used to look at him with interest now shunned him. Teachers began to look suspicious. Anton did nothing, but he was still being turned into an enemy. One evening he went into the gym. And there, against the wall, he saw Maxim, the same guy who had earlier warned him about Sergei's setup. Maxim was standing there smoking, with Oleg next to him. They were talking quietly. Anton stopped at the entrance. They didn't notice him. I don't want to participate in this, Maxim said quietly. You're already involved, Oleg replied. You've been communicating with him. Now either you're with us, or... Are you threatening me? I'm giving you a choice. Anton understood everything. Oleg wasn't just spreading rumors, he was forcing people to make a choice. Either you're with him, or he'll make the whole college against you. He didn't beat, he didn't intimidate, he broke people through fear and manipulation. And now Anton was his main target. Anton didn't interfere with the conversation. He turned around and walked away. But now he knew what to do. You want to play psychological games with me? Go ahead. But I'll pass them better than you. Anton began to act differently. He stopped going into the shadows. He started actively talking to people who trusted him. He approached people himself, joking, socializing, showing that he was just like everyone else. Do you believe the rumors? You know me. Have you ever seen me do anything bad? Gradually, Oleg's campaign began to falter. Now that people were seeing Anton alive, real, the rumors were losing power. But Oleg wasn't going to give up. The next day, what Anton expected happened. He was summoned by the director. Oleg was already sitting in the office. On the table lay a broken flash drive. The director looked at Anton with a cold expression. Do you know what it is? He asked. Anton nodded calmly. No. It's a flash drive with important curriculum information. It was stolen from the classroom. Anton didn't flinch. The principal shifted his gaze to Oleg. He sat with a perfect innocent mask. Oleg says he saw you enter the office at night. Anton smiled. Really? Oleg nodded calmly. Yes. I was walking down the corridor and saw him. I don't know why he went in there, but the fact remains. Anton looked at the director. And you believe me? The director nodded slowly. Let's put it this way, it's a serious accusation. And if it's confirmed, you'll have to leave. Anton knew Oleg had made his main move. Now either he would prove his innocence or lose. You play well, Oleg. But I'll outplay you. Anton stood up calmly. Give me a day. Why? Oleg asked. Anton smiled. To find whoever did this. And he went out, knowing that now he had exactly 24 hours to win this game. Anton knew he only had 24 hours. If he didn't find proof, he'd be expelled. And that's exactly what Oleg wanted. You think you have me cornered? You're wrong. Now I'm hunting you. Anton didn't waste time on emotion. He began to analyze the situation. Who could have stolen the flash drive? When did it happen? Where was the weak spot in Oleg's version? The first thing he did was go to the library. There was the only surveillance camera there, which looked directly at the corridor near the principal's office. Second, he remembered that the college had a security guard who was on duty at night. He went up to him and asked him, was someone in the hallway outside the office that night? The guard frowned. Yes, by the way. I heard someone walking around, but there was no camera there. I went out to look, but there was no one there. Anton realized it was Oleg. He went into the library and asked to see the camera footage. Oleg said he saw Anton go into the study? That's good. So the tape must have Oleg on it, who was there at the time. Anton rewound the tape. And he saw the right moment. 2:13 a.m. Oleg appears on the screen. He stands outside the director's office, looks around, and goes inside. 2 minutes later, he comes out, hiding something in his pocket. Anton isn't there. Get ready, Oleg. I'm about to turn your game against you. The next morning, Anton arrives at the principal's office. Oleg was already there, confident, calm, with a slight smile. The director looked at Anton. So, did you find the proof? Anton took out his phone and turned on the video. On the screen, Oleg, entering the office at 2 a.m. 2 minutes later, he comes out with a flash drive in his pocket. No, Anton is not there. The director slowly raised his eyes to Oleg. And Oleg for the first time in all time looked amazed. Well, Oleg, Anton said calmly. What do you say now? Oleg tried to think of something. But the evidence was too clear. The director called the disciplinary commission. Oleg was officially expelled. His attempt to destroy Anton failed. Anton didn't say a word when Oleg was leaving the college. But before he walked out of the gate, Oleg turned around and looked at him. His eyes were not the eyes of a defeated man. You've won this round. But I'll be back. Anton didn't answer. He knew this fight really wasn't over. But for now, he had won. After Oleg's expulsion, there was real silence in the college. No fights. No rumors or intrigue. No threats. Anton had not sought to become a leader, but now everyone in the college knew. If anyone tries to bring back the old ways, he'll be the first to get in the way. Maxim now always greeted Anton first. Kirill, Sergei's former friend, had once simply nodded to him in acknowledgement. Even the principal now looked at Anton with respect. That's it? Just like that, it's over? Anton didn't relax. And he was right. One evening Anton checked his cell phone. One new message. Unknown number. He opens it. Did you think your past would let you go? We're waiting for you. Tomorrow. In the old park. No signature. No explanation. But Anton immediately realized who it was. So they found me. Anton hadn't always lived a quiet life. Before college, he was in a place where the laws were very different. A boarding school for troubled teens. Not a school, not an orphanage, a cross between an army and a prison. And he didn't just have enemies there. There were people he'd crossed paths with. The ones who don't forget. Those who don't forgive. Well, let's see what you're up to. Anton put the phone away and began to get ready. The next morning he went to the old park. And he knew, they were already waiting for him there. Anton walked along the path covered with fallen leaves. The old park had long been abandoned. There were no cameras here, no witnesses. Here you could do whatever you wanted. And that's exactly what those who were waiting for him knew. Anton stopped at an open area. Once there had been a children's area, but now all that was left of it were rusted swings and concrete slabs. Silence. But he could feel the stares. You haven't changed, Anton. 3 men came out from behind the trees. In the center was a tall guy with sharp facial features, a short haircut and a cold stare. Gleb. Next to him, 2 others, who held confidently, but looked at Anton warily. It's been a long time, Gleb grinned, stopping in front of him. Anton looked directly at him. What do you need? Gleb smiled. Me? Nothing. But you, maybe a chance to stay in one piece. The 2 behind him took a step forward. They clearly wanted a fight. You think your new life can erase the past? Gleb slowly paced around Anton. You betrayed us, Anton. You left when we trusted you. You forgot who gave you this character, this strength. Who made you what you are. Anton listened in silence. You didn't just walk away. You turned your back on us when we needed you. Silence. Anton finally spoke. I don't owe anyone anything. Gleb stopped smiling. Is that what you think? He looked at his men and nodded. The 2 stepped forward. Anton did not wait for the first blow. As soon as one of them rushed forward, he went sideways and punched him in the jaw. He flew away, but the second one was already there. Anton dodged, but felt a blow in his side. Gleb didn't interfere, he just watched. 2 against 1. But it didn't matter. Anton moved the way he had been taught where he came from. No unnecessary movements, no fury, just calculation and speed. 1 elbow strike, then a knee to the stomach. Off. The other, block, grab, hip toss. Off. The dust has settled. Only Anton and Gleb remained on their feet. Gleb smiled again, but there was no joy in his eyes. There you are. The real you. He took something out of his pocket and threw it at Anton's feet. It was an old token, a sign of belonging to their past group. Anton looked at it slowly, then looked up. The choice is yours, Anton. Either you're with us, or we'll meet again. And then everything will be different. Gleb turned around and left. Anton remained standing, looking at the token. The past had not yet let him go. But he already knew what to do. I don't belong to you anymore. He bent down, picked up the token, and clenched it in his fist. Anton stared at the token in his hand for a long time. That token had once meant everything to him. This badge was worn only by those who belonged to the group. Now it was just a piece of metal. I've closed that door. Forever. Anton unclenched his fingers and the token fell to the ground. He turned and walked away without even looking back. But he was wrong to think it was over. The past wasn't going to let him go so easily. The next day, Anton received a new message. You've made your choice. Now we'll make ours. No signature. No words. But Anton knew immediately what it meant. They won't stop. They won't just leave. They want to show me that I have no way out. But there was a way out. And he knew what to do. Late in the afternoon, he went to the old park again. Now he knew they were waiting for him. And he was ready. As he approached the very platform, 5 men emerged from the shadows. Gleb stood in the center. He was not alone now. There were others with him, those who were not afraid to fight. You have chosen your side, Anton. Now choose to leave on your feet, or on a stretcher. One of the guys took out a bat. The other pulled out brass knuckles. Anton didn't move. You still don't realize who you're playing with, do you? Gleb grinned. You're the one who hasn't realized. You're the only one. There are 5 of us. Anton looked at him. Are you sure? Gleb frowned. And then 2 men stepped out of the shadows. Maxim and Kirill. They stood next to Anton. I thought you were smarter than that, Gleb, Maxim grinned. Are you going to break him? We won't let you. Gleb looked confused for the first time. Now the forces were evenly matched. And he understood, the fight might not turn out in his favor. Now you're cornered. But Gleb rushed forward anyway. He bet on rage. His men followed him. And the fight began. Maxim knocked down the first punch he threw. Kirill dodged the bat and kicked the second man in the stomach. Anton grabbed Gleb's arm and spun him sharply. He flew to the ground. It was quick. Gleb and his men were on the floor. They realized, it's over. This time, forever. Gleb got up, breathing heavily. He looked at Anton. The look was angry, but without the same confidence. Do you think you've won? Anton nodded. I don't think so. I know. Gleb was silent. Then he spat blood on the ground and turned away. That's it. Let's go. They walked away, leaving only footprints on the muddy ground. Anton stood staring after them. Maxim clapped him on the shoulder. Are you sure you're done now? Anton nodded. Yes. That's it now. He had made his choice. And now his life belonged to him alone. The past was gone. And would never come back. 2 weeks passed. The college returned to its normal routine. Sergei was banished. Oleg tried to play a tricky game, but he lost. Gleb wanted to return Anton to the past, but he realized that it was impossible. Now Anton could live the life he wanted. Without fights. No intrigue. Without the past dragging him back. But he wasn't the same as he had been before. He was no longer a shadow. No longer hiding. He had changed. And now everyone could see it. Maxim had become his friend. Kirill, who had once been on Sergei's side, now respected him too. Even those who had been afraid of him at first now realized that he was not an enemy. You know, Maxim said once, sitting with Anton in the dining room. You seem to have done nothing on purpose, but you've changed this college anyway. Anton looked up slowly. I was just being me. Maxim smiled. Exactly. One evening Anton received another message. We'll be watching you. You're gone, but the world won't be the same again. Good luck. No signature. But he knew who it was. Gleb. Anton smiled and deleted the message. The past never completely disappeared. But it couldn't break him now. Because he had chosen who he wanted to be. 5 years had passed. College was long in the past. Anton left for another city, started a new life. He didn't go down the criminal path like so many of his old neighborhood. Didn't stay in college, didn't get stuck in that history. He chose a path that once seemed impossible. Anton became a martial arts coach. He trains guys who, just like he once did, find themselves on the edge, between making the right choice and falling. He doesn't just teach them how to fight. He teaches them to take a punch in life. Every one of us can break. But the real fighter is not the one who wins the fight, but the one who doesn't give up when life hits harder. One night, as he closed the gym, he heard a voice from the past. You've changed, Anton. He turned around. Gleb was standing in the doorway. Still as cold, but without the same anger. Anton looked at him calmly. What do you want? Gleb grinned. Me? Nothing. I just wanted to see who you are now. Anton didn't answer. Gleb looked at his training room. At the guys who looked up to Anton as an example. At the pictures of his students with medals. And nodded slowly. So you really did choose a different path. He turned around and walked away. Anton was left standing in silence. Yes. I chose my path. And I have no regrets. Anton didn't just survive college. He had changed his destiny. The past tried to bring him back, but he chose the future. Now he's on his own to help those who were once like him. And that's a victory more important than any fight.